Good evening. It is now 6 p.m. and I call this meeting to order of the Floresville City Council. This is our regular meeting, May the 11th, 2023. Please rise for our invocation. Al Saldana with Harvest Christian Fellowship will lead us.
Heavenly Father, we thank you once again tonight, Lord. And we thank you for these awesome men and women that have dedicated their lives to serving this community. We know that the decisions that we make here tonight in every meeting will affect so many people in this city. Give them wisdom, give them knowledge, compassion, and courage, Father, to do your will, to do your job. We ask your blessings in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Thank you. Please stay standing and join us in our Pledge of Allegiance and Texas Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
We do have a quorum for tonight's meeting, and I name this officially. Council Place 1, Councilwoman Marissa Jimenez. Council Place 2, Councilwoman Terry Rowland. Council Place 3, Councilman Edward Villarreal. Council Place 4, Councilwoman Beatriz Jimenez Marroquin. And Council Place 5, Councilman Donald C. Thank you so much, Council, for all being here tonight. I now open the floor for any citizens' comments. This is the opportunity for citizens to come to the podium, state your name, and address the council. If none, I have been a special request from former Councilwoman Gloria Cantu. She'd like to address the council.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to repeat, because some of my family's here now, and I'll repeat the speech that I said earlier today. Can everybody hear me? Thank you. I'm just going to say hello. My name is Gloria Morales Cantu, City Council Woman and Mayor Pro Tem. It has been an honor to have been on the Floresville City Council since May 2016, at times serving as Mayor Pro Tem since 2017. First off, I would like to thank God our Savior for giving me the opportunity to serve the citizens of Floresville. This accomplishment would not be possible without the support and sacrifice of my family, my daughters, Amanda and Noela, son-in-laws, Baldo and Fabian, sisters, Ruby and Diana. To all my friends and family, thank you for all the support and encouragement through the years. I would also like to thank all of our city employees as well as our city police department for always helping me out and being pillars of our society. Even though I am retired, the position was a 24-hour job. I never passed up a moment to meet with lifelong or new residents to our city and hear their stories or concerns. I want to thank the citizens of Floresville for putting their trust in me for the last 7 years. It was a pleasure to serve you. I never made any promises, but I did do my best to help everyone as much as I could. And I really put my heart into what I did. Over the years, I have been fortunate to see our city grow. I have seen projects from beginning to end. I have been lucky to participate and see organization committees and boards such as the FEDC, 4A, Zoning Board of Adjustments, Tourist Advisory, Hike and Bike Trail, and the City Council help bring opportunities and jobs to the city of Floresville. Holding this position has been eye-opening. I have seen great accomplishments, and I have also seen people serve their own interests and vote on items they don't fully understand, which breaks my heart. As I leave this council position, I plan to continue to stay involved with the community, God willing. I encourage the new council to get to know their constituents to understand that they are a representative of our community, to read the bi-weekly agenda front to back and know what they are voting on. Don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't understand. You are the voice of the people, and they are relying on you to do what is best for them and for the city of Floresville. Be an advocate for smart growth. Thank you to my loving husband in heaven who has always taken care of me. Once again, thank you, friends and family, the city council, the city manager, and all our city employees and the citizens. It has truly, truly been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Cantu.
Thank you.
And don't go away too far.
I'm gonna go.
Okay, moving on to item 1A, consideration and action to approve the meeting minutes by the regular council meeting on April the 27th of 2023. I was not at this meeting, but you have in front of you the minutes. I do have a form that was at this meeting, so I will give you just a moment or two to go over the minutes, see if you feel like there's any changes needed. If not, I will open the floor for a motion. Okay. I will open the floor for a motion. So move. I have a motion on the floor with Councilman Jimenez.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any citizens' comments? If none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Item passes 3-2 abstaining. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 2A. Council, if you would join us down on the floor is a special presentation to Castro's Place for all their years of service. We do have members of their owners and their staff. So council, if you would please join us down on the floor for that presentation.
Let me read this first.
Yes.
And then we'll sit down.
Yes. You can go ahead and go down now.
Okay. I started writing this before my name is Gregory, City Council and Mayor Pro Tem. It is a pleasure for me to present this appreciation plaque to one of the oldest businesses here in Floresville, Castro's Place. This business started in 1937, 86 years ago, by Roland Castro's great-great-grandfather, Frank Castro Sr. Then it was also worked by Roland great-grandfather, Frank Castro Jr. In the mid-60s, Elico Castro, Roland's dad, took over the business. For 33 years, since 1990, Roland and Suse Castro have been in charge of this business. A place where you can sit down, relax, and always feel welcome. Roland and Susie have always been very generous to our community, always lending a hand when needed. I know because I have been there. Not only do they volunteer their place to have benefits to raise money for someone in need, but they also volunteer their time by cooking. So on behalf of the city of Floresville, thank you, Susie and Roland Castro, for serving our community, the city of Floresville. The plaque reads, Floresville Castro's Place, Roland and Suse Castro, thank you for 33 years of serving our community, 1990 through 2023. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor, for letting me do this.
Council, if you would stay down. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Item 2A, I'm going to do this from down here. Item 2A is our presentation of Hilscher's Fine Furniture, Appliance, and Electronics. Terry and I were just talking about the fact that if you come into our house, you're going to see Hilscher's furniture. Quite a bit. I think most of us can say that. John Hilscher, and I believe you have your son with you, if you will come forward. And thank you to Mrs. Cantu for making this all happen this evening. But you can come up with us.
Okay, and I'm gonna repeat, my name is in the podium. Hello, my name is Gregory Morales Cantu, former city council and mayor pro tem. Today I am grateful to be able to give 2 appreciation plaques for 2 of the oldest businesses here in Floresville. These businesses have been here for generations. This business started in the late 40s, about 74 years ago, by Mr. Adolf Helcher, John's grandfather, who started selling formal and international harvester, tractors, trucks, and freezers. In 1963, Donald and Rose Lee Helcher, John's dad and mom, decided to do a transformation and turn it into a furniture and appliance store. And not just any furniture. Helcher's has the finest furniture you can buy. Donald and Rose Lee always greeted customers with a smile. Today, that welcoming friendliness continues. The business is run by their son John, his wife Debbie, and son Matthew. People come from all over to the city of Floresville to buy furniture. So on behalf of the city of Floresville, thank you for keeping your store here and helping so many citizens. Oh, and by the way, I found out that they have layaways. So.
Oh, and this one it says, Helcher's Fine Furniture, Appliance, and Electrical, John, Debbie, and Matthew Helcher. Thank you for 60 years of serving our customers, 1963 to 2023. Thank you, Matt, for letting me.
He's got a bunch of furniture on layaway, appliances on layaway there right now.
I'll make sure to
Thank you, everyone. Moving on to new business. Consideration, item 3A, by the way. Consideration and action to approve proclamation 2023-005, mental health proclamation. We have Doris Morales and her staff. And ladies, if you will come up, I'll read the proclamation. And if there's any questions by council. And by the way, thank you so much for reaching out to all of us on the council and to our staff. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you here. And let me read the proclamation as presented. Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and whereas all Americans face challenges in life that can impact their mental health, especially during the pandemic, and whereas prevention is an effective way to reduce the burden of mental health conditions, and whereas there are practical tools that all people can use to improve their mental health and increase resiliency, and whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, and whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives. And whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizens share the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention and treatment efforts. If approved, therefore, I, Cecilia Gonzalez Dipple, Mayor of the City of Floresville, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the City of Floresville. As the mayor, I also call upon citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in the City of Floresville to commit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health, the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions. Would you like to add anything to that?
I'd just like to add that we have been seeing an increase in a lot of great working relationships with our stakeholders here, especially with our law enforcement. And one of the things that Camino Real has implemented with a grant is we've hired a law enforcement liaison, which is Stephen Moore, and he has been providing several many trainings for our law enforcement to kind of bridge the gaps, right, so that we can continue to serve the community as appropriate and get them to the appropriate placement, and just understanding what all mental health involves, right, and not go unnoticed. So we have just seen an increase in just the working relationships with that, and overall, we are located on 1327 3rd Street. Again, anybody's welcome to come talk about what service we provide. I can go on, but I don't want to take too much time. But we do from substance use, crisis services, a drop-off for our law enforcement. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 7, and on weekends. So anybody is welcome to come and just know what service we provide for that facility there.
Thank you. Thank you. Council, do you have any comments, questions, or concerns?
Mayor, I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to thank you for all of the work that you do. It is greatly needed here in our county and in our city and across the state as well. Thank you for utilizing that grant that we can bridge different entities together just to create more awareness for everyone involved. I would like to ask that you share any additional information that you have with the city so it can be posted on their social media page as well, so we can continue to create awareness. You know, myself as an individual, my license allows me to provide mental health services as a psychologist, so this is very dear and near to my heart, and I just wanted, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank each and every one of you for the work you do. It's truly God's work, so thank you.
It takes everybody working together.
Yes, ma'am.
It does. Throughout the 9 counties that we serve, here in Wilson County, we're going to be having, mental health awareness events are going, and we have one tomorrow morning. I'm going to come up there and give you an invite. It's for Breakfast with Champs. Just come in, you're welcome. It starts from 9:30 to 11:30, and I'll come up and give you a flyer as well, okay?
Thank you so much. Council, any other questions or comments?
I'd like to make a comment. I just want to say welcome to Mr. Moore and thank you for moving on that position, because that's something that we seriously need and that we seriously don't want to see as an issue with our PD being unable to handle a special situation. And thank you very much. And again, I just want to say welcome and thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
The PD is doing a great job. Chief Herrera is doing a great job with his staff, and they work with us anytime we need them for emergency detentions and other issues that arise. They're there. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Council, any other comments or questions? Yes.
So I work with most of the people that we have here, see them on a quarterly basis at the Crisis Task Force down in Carnes. I work with them in my other position as a Veteran Service Officer. And so they do also have a veteran outreach, veteran peer group person that works with them as well. So, but in Floresville is very blessed to have the services that y'all provide right here in town. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other comments by council?
Madam Mayor, I have a comment.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Gloria Morales Cantu, former city council and mayor pro tem. I started working on this since 2016. I knew we needed help for substance abuse, but when I would call Austin, they would always say the money goes to larger towns. You can get help in San Antonio. I remember telling them the people that need help don't have vehicles, but now Camino Real is here. I only have positive things to say about Camino Real. I have been so fortunate working together with these professionals. Veronica Sanchez Doran Morales, Maria Ortiz, Corina Cortez, Stephanie Tejada, Mr. Moore, and of course there's more, too many to name. Camino Real has brought so much to this community, especially with helping individuals that need assistance with substance abuse, crisis intervention services. I have witnessed these professionals at work. They go above and beyond to help others. They have trained our city department on how to use Narcan to save lives. Also on how to recognize individuals with mental issues. I have also seen our officers develop good working relationships with our community and with Camino Real. I was blessed to have been at the right place at the right time, connecting the dots. Camino Real now works closely with SACARA, San Antonio Council and Alcohol Drug Awareness. Today I am proud to say thank you to our city council, city manager. We have partnered up with Camino Real and SACARA to help fight this disease. We are all in this together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may comment just for the new council members that are in the diocese, the city council and city staff have partnered with Camino Real in a big way. You all allowed us to and approved a contribution for a peer support specialist, and the crisis meetings that they hold at our event center at no cost. So we are partners with them at your request and your approval. So we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council, without any further comments or questions, I will open the floor for a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve proclamation 2023-005, mental health proclamation.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman C. Do I have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Marroquin. Any citizens' comments? Yes, sir.
As a wrestler, I was a licensed social worker here in the school setting for many years. It's near and dear to my heart as well. But I sit currently as the vice chairman. Mr. Kennedy took over as president of our Wilson Mental Health, Wilson Community Advisory Board. And we meet once a month there. We're one of 2 advisory mental health boards still going on in the state of Texas. So we would like to open the offer to the city. We have open seats that sit on that board monthly, and we help oversee all the mental health crisis things that go on in the city. I'd like to extend the offer. We're doing a 5K on this Saturday. If y'all like to come out as city council people to raise the awareness, we'll be here downtown in conjunction with the Floresville Community Market. And so please just come out Saturday, help raise awareness of mental health. We know it all has affected us over the last few years with some suicide that have happened with our local community members. So again, just let y'all know that we meet there at the Trujillo building. And so if you have any questions, let us know.
Mr. Reed, you're not going to ask us to run, are you?
And if you don't ask me to run, I won't ask you to run.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Getting back to it. Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Item passes 5-0. Thank you very much. And we will get that signed proclamation to you as soon as possible. Yes, ma'am. Sure. Council, one more picture off. It's long and it's great.
You got us?
Thank you.
Thank you. Doris,
Thank you all for being here. Moving on to new business 3B, consideration and action to approve proclamation 2023-006, the 2023 Community Action Month. We have Nina Ruiz with us, and everybody knows Nina. And so we have our proclamation. And before we read it, I'll hand the floor over to Ms. Ruiz and tell us a little bit more about what the proclamation means and what it does.
Okay. I'm Nina Ruiz, and everybody knows Nina. Hopefully that's a good thing.
In a good way.
In our community, everybody knows Nina, right? Call Nina. So Community Action Partnership, Community Council is the nonprofit organization that I work for. We are part of the Community Action Partnership. We were established in 1965 as a result of the President Lyndon B. Johnson Economic Opportunity Act. Community Council of South Central Texas is celebrating Community Action Month in May, and obviously we are requesting that the city proclaim May as Community Action Month. Here locally, the past year alone, our agency has empowered 55 individuals to attain self-sufficiency. What that means for us locally, 39 families of the 55, we service 31 counties here in Texas. 39 of this number was here in Floresville. What does that mean for me? That means I worked hard in helping families come out of poverty. We help families by helping them, encourage them to get out and not just work, but I try to help counsel them to find employment that's going to fit and work for them. We help them by providing utility assistance, rental assistance. Some of our counties do have weatherization available. We do have a program that can help some of our clients if they're homeless. We also run some Head Start centers in Guadalupe County, as well as our local WIC office. We do have a veterans program where we were able to keep 55 veterans out of homelessness. So Community Council, everybody knows Nina, right? But we all work really hard. We service 31 counties, like I said. We work really hard in our communities, and we are here requesting that the city does proclaim that May is Community Action Month.
Thank you. And I will read the proclamation. Whereas the Community Council of South Central Texas Incorporated was established as a community action agency on May 11th of 1965. And whereas the service area encompasses the South Central and Southwest Texas counties of Atascosa, Bandera, Bee, Brewster, Crane, Comal, Culberson, Denton, Edwards, Frio, Gillespie, Guadalupe, Hudspeth, Jeff Davis, Carnes, Kerr, Kendall, Kinney, LaSalle, Live Oak, Maverick, Medina, McMullen, Pecos, Presidio, Real, Terrell, Uvalde, Valverde, Wilson, and Zalal. Whereas the Community Action has made essential contributions to individuals and families across the nation by creating economic opportunities and strengthening communities. And whereas Community Action is a robust state and local force connecting people to life-changing services and creating pathways to prosperity in 99% of all American counties. And whereas community action builds and promotes economic stability as an essential aspect of enabling and enhancing stronger communities and stable homes. And whereas community action promotes community-wide solutions to challenges throughout our cities, suburbs, and rural areas. And whereas community action delivers innovative services and supports that create greater opportunities for families and children to succeed. And whereas community action insists on community participation and involvement, ensuring that all sectors of the community have a voice and will be heard. And whereas the community action is celebrating 58 years of innovation, impact, providing proven results in America. Now therefore, I, Cecilia Gonzalez-Dipple of Floresville, Texas, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Community Action Month in recognition of the hard work and dedication of all Floresville, Texas community action agencies. Council, you have the proclamation before you. I will open the floor for a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Jimenez. Do I have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Rowland. Any citizens' comments? Kind of a surprise.
No, well, I am too, because I didn't know Nina was gonna be here. I just have to say that I think I knew Nina about a year before I just knew her voice, because I work very closely with the food pantry, and there's a lot of people that are, that need help. So I would call her constantly, and then finally we met, and I'm so glad we did, because she does help a lot of people. And she also does Zumba. So that's how I know her. Thank you.
Council, I have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the proclamation. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Item passes 5-0. We're all in agreement that the work that you do is you and the organization do is absolutely incredible. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And I do need a picture.
That's quite a right.
We work hard. It's our work ethic.
Need a thanks.
Over here.
Got it?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 3C, consideration and action to approve moving forward and creating a new process and guidelines for agenda items by the city council members. With the new council members, I believe that it is vitally important that we go over exactly what the process is, because there's been some questions, and I've been talking with our city manager, our city secretary, on what processes we'll do. For instance, there's another board that I'm on. We have a meeting on a Wednesday morning. The deadline for any agenda items is actually 7 days before. So we thought it's vital for the help of our city secretary to get our agendas completed in a timely manner. I know there's been questions about getting packets out a little bit earlier. So as we looked forward into other cities, just to get some idea, and Mr. Jocelyn, I'm going to call on you as well, because as city manager, when you were here in those years, I was on city council in the early 2000 to 2006. We had a process, and I think it went forward, but we had a process that it took 2 council members to actually sign for an item to be put on the agenda and then it had to be submitted in writing. And correct me if I'm wrong.
That is correct, Mayor. The process was that the mayor and the city manager alone could put items on the agenda, but council members, it took 2 council members at that time. Ms. Ellen reached out in her city secretary group, and in your packet, there are items in there of other cities and their processes of how that is done. I looked through the charter because our charter, of course, is primary, and the charter is very vague. I know that the city attorney and I have talked about things that we will have to eventually take to the voters if they're going to approve that or make any changes. But on that one, all it states is any council member may place items on the agenda used in city council meetings. For the benefit of the council members to be able to get a proper time to review their packets, we ask that you as a new council, city council, talk about a process that can help our city secretary make sure that you get all the information that you've got in a proper amount of time to review it. So it's up to you to come up with a process that fits for all of you, that you agree upon. That way you can start moving forward. I know there's a lot of business and a lot of work. Councilwoman Jimenez likes her agendas emailed so that she can review them because she's on the road a lot. Other council members like they're in a packet, handout form. So it should help us out to make sure that we streamline our process, but that's going to be up to the council.
Right. I have asked that just recently because of some confusion that if council members do have an agenda item, that it be emailed or in writing no later than noon on Monday. We come to find out that that's even a little difficult because posting at 5 o'clock is difficult. So a suggestion by me, but the council is the one that will vote on it, is that all agenda items be presented in writing in some way, shape, or form in writing. Either come in, write it out, or email it and send it over to our city secretary by noon on Friday. That would give ample time for our secretary to get all the information together, and if you have an agenda item, if you have backup information that goes with it, to be submitted at the same time as that noon deadline. But everything is up to the consideration of the council members. Any comments?
Yes, I do. With the packets and stuff, sometimes there's a lot of information that you have to go through, and a couple of days doesn't really help to really get in and dig and do any research. And what I would suggest is to say if council members have an agenda item to put on, or the city manager or our mayor have an agenda item, is there a possibility that we could maybe bring it up in one city council meeting and then we can vote on it, or, it just say, this is what we'd like to talk about at our next meeting. So that way people have some time to gather all the information or do any research that they need, and then put it on the agenda and then have that time to vote on it. And that way you're also allowing the citizens to make any comments on it as well. So you're giving maybe a 2-week notice for everyone, not only on city council, but for our residents as well, to make any comments should they have any.
So basically what you're saying, Councilwoman, is put it on the agenda for consideration and no action.
For discussion.
Just for discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
For discussion with action to be at the next council meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
And that way everybody knows about it.
We have it in ample time.
I'll look at that as well. I absolutely agree with everything you said, but I would actually like to see it go a step farther in that anything that wants to be presented before the council that involves spending large amounts of money be presented in one meeting for discussion, and then it has to go to a next meeting before it be voted on and approved. Or that gives our citizens an opportunity to read about it in the paper, to hear about it, and if they want to come and speak, they have an opportunity to speak. It just kind of adds a layer of transparency, into what we do here.
Absolutely.
And Mayor, I think it's a great idea about that Friday noon. There are actually other cities that do that, where they require, if you're going to place an item on the agenda, it's got to be in by Friday noon. And if you don't get it in by that Friday noon, then it's not going on that agenda.
Right. Well, being on the Phelps board, that is the cutoff time. That's actually like the Monday before the Wednesday meeting. And then the meeting is posted Thursday, no later than Thursday. So that gives us an opportunity to go over, because with Phelps, we have a lot of documents to go to, which, by the way, they've presented to us on the new pad. So there's no paper, unless you request it. So, but budget time, maybe.
Yes,
Speaking
ma'am.
of the two-meeting concept though, obviously there would have to be an exception in there for an emergency expenditure.
And that's what I was gonna say, thank you, sir, because there's a lot of work that we're doing. I try to keep the council briefed on everything that's going on ahead of time, so you know and you can speak to your constituents. The next agenda item is objectives and goals and objectives portion, where I'd like to fill in the council on what's gone up to this point. But the time that I was here before, what happened and what occurred was a lot of the discussion on one meeting and then action on the other amounted to a lot of work within those meetings. So we were here till midnight, sometimes after, depending on how many items were left over to the next meeting. So just be cognizant of that maybe it's something that we can try and move forward and see how you like it, but I wouldn't put a stamp of this is the way it's going to be from now on. Because they add up on the agenda.
Right.
Mayor, point of inquiry.
Yes.
So for today, this action item is to just agree to move forward with the process.
Right.
My next question is the examples that are provided in our packet, this first one, what city did this one come from?
I'm going to get it to you.
Sure, because I did see some email correspondence where you have something from Yukon Valley and also letterhead from the city of Windcrest, but I wasn't sure this first one that's.
So the first one is Leon Valley.
Okay.
And
I also want to ask, I do know that you are reaching out to your association. Thank you for that. That's the whole point of being a part of one of those associations.
That's new, and I was very excited. They all reached out.
Yes,
There's a
ma'am.
few that didn't have, anything in place just to give it to the mayor, but this is very helpful.
My next question would be, are those municipalities that are providing information, are they a home rule city as well? A manager-ran city similar to us? Because I would not want to be comparing to a city that doesn't function in the same manner that we do.
Right, yeah, they were just, they just sent me what they had, just as an example, if you wanted, you don't have to follow that, but just an idea.
Right.
Right.
I think this, oh, I'm sorry, were you finished?
My next question would be, so how do you want us to provide our feedback or our own recommendations for this?
I think so, because something will have to be drafted. So if we can give direction to our city attorney to start drafting something up, looking at it at our next meeting. And of course, what we're doing right now is available to our next meeting, which is preferably have it in writing no later than noon on Monday. But going forward, when we have so many important issues on the agendas, I think it's important that we go forward with it. So like I said, I like the deadline of the Friday before. I do like the idea of discussion on one meeting, but knowing that it comes back at the next meeting for action, unless it's an emergency situation with
With the timeline that we got on our grants, there's timelines on grants that we may run into.
And I don't feel that if a council member wants to put something on the agenda, that it necessarily needs to have two, because sometimes that's difficult if you're working out of town or in that particular case. But council, any other suggestions?
Yeah, I just have a comment. It's like my question would go to Andy and to our city attorney would be if we were discussing something that needed just to be carried over or whatever, depending on what the agenda item is, would it give you enough time if you had like a 2-week window where we put it up for discussion and then we vote on it 2 weeks later? So whether it is an action item that you might need to research, or the city secretary or our city attorney or our finance director, would a 2-week period of time be enough time for you guys to do your research and your background on it.
And again, I believe so, but we'd have to, it'd be a trial and error for items like that. But we'd be straightforward with you on things that we needed. Hey, that's not enough time, or it's too much time and we have to move forward. Then we'd be in the special meetings that needed to be called.
And then my question is, how would we offer our suggestions to you? Do you want them in writing, or do you want to discuss them in a meeting, or would you prefer them in writing?
I love everything in writing, that way I can respond to you and then I can provide you with what I'm finding. I think even just the deadline that the mayor is suggesting, the Friday before, I think you're going to see that that's going to work wonders. But I'm thinking just off the top of my head right now, Councilwoman Rowland, I'm thinking even if you put on your agenda a part that is just for your presentation and your consideration items, and then you can even put a separate part on your agenda where you talk about the action items, and those would probably be the ones that you have emergency expenditures and stuff of that nature. So I agree with you, Mr. Johnson. I think that it's a great idea. I would ask that Mayor and Council please try this on a trial basis and let's see how it works. If it gets backed up, well, I think Mr. Johnson, Evelyn, and myself and Cindy, we're going to come out and just pull our hair, and you're going to see we have no hair. So then you're going to realize that it's not working, you know. But I think it's a great opportunity so that everybody will be on point and will understand. Because I know that you guys have also faced items where they've come to you and asked you, this is a statement you're going to adopt tonight, and it's like voluminous. And then you're expected to make a ruling on that same evening, and it's like impossible. So I think that those are considerations. I think that that's just.
Well, there are some items that, of course, like proclamations, things like
Yes.
that, that can easily go through.
Yes.
Now, here's another suggestion, is if it is an item that is time sensitive,
Yes.
if we could get that information even earlier than that, then the packets go out.
Yes, ma'am.
It's just a suggestion, but before the, you know, if we have, I'm talking if we have a presentation like Phelps that needs something, again, I'm using them, but if Phelps comes up and says, I need a presentation, if we get that at least a week in advance, the council will know more for an action item on that meeting. So it's,
And I think you guys set a precedence on that this year.
yes.
Because there were statements that were coming to you at the last minute.
Yeah.
And you were expected to sign by that evening, and you did something.
And we can notify organizations like that and others that we need your information,
Yeah.
you know, 10 days before a meeting or
And
whatever
if
the
not,
case
it's
may
not
be.
going on the agenda.
And you've taken that action already, Mayor, just for the remainder of the council. That was adopted by this council through a financial policy and sent to that organization. So they have
Yeah.
that in it, what their steps in each way. So you've already taken that step in regards to
Comment
they're
there.
gonna-
Yes, sir.
I agree that did happen and it was addressed, but then again, it kind of turned around to happen again with the city audit, just last meeting. So, you know, we really need to just be more cognizant that we can't have something that vitally important that's presented just hours after, you know, after it was
Yes, sir.
briefed to the committee that did the audit. They were well briefed, I'm sure, but the rest of the council only got the paperwork just minutes before the board, or the council met.
And I think we can give a directive to management that the council wants a little bit more time, more clarity, more, as much information as possible, as soon as possible.
Well, there's-
And the other thing too, I'd like to say thank you for that, because I like your idea about if we have an agenda to put items for discussion, and that way there are no, you know, we're not voting on it or anything like that. Those are just items for discussion at a
And then
future
your
meeting.
action items.
Yeah.
So the actual agenda item is just for approval for the starting of a draft, ideas to go forward with a policy that will probably come to us in the next meeting or the next two meetings, so that as new members to the council come, there's no question. Now, as far as the council is concerned, you know, I don't think I'll have a problem, but there is a code of conduct that you need to be aware of. There's also the Open Meetings Act that needs to be taken care of as soon as possible. You can do that online and get a certificate about that. So there are some stipulations that the council go through, but this is just, the item on the agenda is just for clarification to get an item on the agenda.
Yes,
Any other questions by council?
Now, I have a question on the open meetings. Does that have to be redone if we've done one in the last year?
I don't believe so. I think if you
I'll
know.
double check with Margaret and then I can email you.
And
It's probably going to be the one on new council members, so you might have to take it, Mr. C, but it won't take, Councilman C, it won't take a week. But we'll check on it to make sure, sir.
And the new members will be notified as far as what is required.
Yes, we're gonna have to meet with them, our city secretary will have to meet with them individually to get them the items that new council members get. Access cards, phones, and then copies of whatever we can give them.
And if we can send in the policy in regards to procedures or that we have in our ordinances regarding behaviors of council members.
Yes.
And will that also include a copy of the city charter as well?
Yes.
Will you get a copy?
Yes.
Great.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, I will open the floor for a motion. And again, the motion is just to go forward with creating the policy. It says process, but the process, the policies, the guidelines for approval at a later date.
So moved.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Rowland. Do I have a second?
A second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Marroquin. Any citizens' comments? If none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Item passes 5-0. Moving on to item 4A. Pursuant to section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code Personnel Matters, to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. Our city manager, this was asked for by our city manager to discuss with council goals and objectives. So council, do I have a motion to go into executive session
So moved.
at 6:52? I have a motion to go into executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, we are going into executive session. We'll be back as soon as we can.